I am resident of Collinwood for YouTube. Joel Sains, that is Vicki Ray. Patrick McRae may join us later. I don't know if he will. But we're here to talk Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, the theatrical version and the producer's cut. So, Vicki, when did you first see this movie?
Probably when it first came around about the time it came out. That's why I have since slept and had to refresh my brain and had to go back in and watch it. And then my friend kindly reminded me of the two different versions because Donald Pleasance did not make it through, where we have the theatrical cut and we've got the producer's cut, which was actually the producer's cut was known as the bootleg cut for years.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot about that. It was like a rough work print, I think, of the original. It was like the original, and they dubbed it the producer's cut or the P cut. Or I remember Halloween 666. Did you ever hear of
Yeah.
that? It circulated
Yeah.
around the fandom because everybody wanted the bootleg more than they wanted the official release. I guess it was more of a, I don't know. You know how us weirdos are in the horror. How we love our movies. But
Yeah.
there was substantial and impactful differences in both of them, and it made for differences with the overall feel of both films. So it just depends. I mean, you either loved it or you hated it. I mean, there was a lot of like the Cult of Thorn. I think that threw a lot of the fans because I don't think they were ready for the Rosemary's Baby aspect of
Yeah.
what was going on with his niece.
Mm-hmm.
It got really fucking weird in that one. So it did. It got weird, and it gets weirder the next one. So I mean, the weirdness just never ends. But I
Yeah.
mean, you've seen this. Well, when did you watch it? Was it about the same time, or did you
I,
wait for
I
like a decade or so later?
Well, the theatrical version, I'm a lucky man. My mom was a big horror fan. And when before we went on vacation, she took us to see this in theaters. This was the first Halloween I saw in theaters.
Oh,
Um,
you started out on this one.
not in the franchise, but this is the first Halloween I saw in theaters. Um,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, which was really, really cool. I begged my mom to see this. She goes, we're going. And when we came back from vacation, I said, can we go again? She's like, yeah, sure. So I went twice to see this. And I was blown away by the theatrical version. The producer's cut I saw later, much later when it came out. And I was like, and Daniel Ferens was talking to me about this after I interviewed him. He said, the producer's cut is the version I wanted.
Right.
And I said, and I could sort of see why, because it makes a
A
lot
little
more
more
sense.
Halloweenish though.
Yeah, it has more. Now, the theatrical cut has stalking, Michael
It does.
stalking people, but the producer's cut has a lot more of it. I do think, it makes more sense when you're tying it to 5 because Michael was crying because he's controlled by this occult. And Kara showed saying,
Did that bother you that the shape our Michael Myers is being controlled? That just,
it's
no one controls Michael Myers.
it's I will say, like, this is why I prefer the theatrical cut because he kills the cult.
Yeah.
Um, I do love a lot of the scenes in the producer's cut. I
Yeah.
sort of wish, like the stalking scene at the school where he comes out from behind the tree and he's looking at Kara.
Yeah.
I wish that would have been left in the theatrical version. That I
It
love.
was more, it would kind of hit a more of a keynote of Halloween of old.
Yeah.
It kind of made you feel. I believe they even used the music to Halloween. Was it for the theatrical cut?
Well, yeah,
They used rock, like,
yeah, they used rock, yeah, more rock metal, if you will.
yeah.
Um, and this is sort of the first time they did that with the Halloween theme.
Well,
Before
they
it
had
was,
editing issues with the theatrical cut, T cut. It was like an MTV rapid fire editing. They had a lot of strobe lights. Lots of
wow,
they said that they had a lot of jarring cuts and they were a frequent point of criticism. They thought it detracted from the suspense and the whole atmospheric content of it in the theatrical. And also with the theatrical, people were upset about Jamie Lloyd's death because they didn't really, her beautiful, she had a brutal demise in the T cut, but it was they thought it was a cheap shock tactic. And the fandom wasn't happy about that, but it was disliked by fans who followed her character in the first few movies. I don't think they liked to see the little girl, quote unquote, I think that bothered the fandom a little bit from what I read.
JC Brandy, and when I was talking to Danielle Ferrens about this, she knew what was going to happen.
Right.
Either way, like that, her character was on borrowed time.
Right.
Now, for people who want to know if Danielle Harris was offered the role, yeah, she was. She was offered the role. They just did not have enough money to give it to her. She wanted more money, even though the character was dying, but they didn't have enough money. So, which was really interesting. That I do love both versions of it. I more prefer the theatrical version.
Cut.
Yeah, because what Kara says to Michael, you could stop this. It's like, yes, he could kill everybody in that room and not bat an eye. And 5-2, when you're watching the flashback, it looks like they forcibly take him away. Yeah. It's like, well, if they're controlling him, why are they forcibly taking him away? Yeah,
it was the theatrical cut that did the rock music. It was the producer's cut that kept the Halloween music off and on.
Yeah. I do love a lot of the cue sequences for the chase scene.
Yeah.
A very, very good chase scene in both the theatrical cut and the producer's cut. It's slightly different because you see Michael stop chasing them once they get inside the house. Whereas they just slam the door and they don't show Michael. Kara still jumps out the window. That's the same. There's a little more dialogue between Loomis and Mitchell Ryan's character.
Yeah. He was very young in this.
Yes, he is. He
looks like a kid. I was sitting there thinking, I was watching him in From or any other. That's the series. It's from the producers of Lost. That's actually really good. He's excellent in that. He shows up in a lot of stuff years later. But he just shows up in movies. It's just like, oh man, there's that guy. There's that guy. He's that guy. He's that guy. But he shows up in a lot of stuff. He's actually getting some better roles though. Yeah. But with the theatrical cut, it was Loomis, the producer's cut. Loomis confronts the cult, and did they brand him with the thorn symbol because it takes over Dr. Wynn's role in the cult? Is that what they were trying to establish? Because it got kind of gray there for me.
Well, at the end of the movie. Remember, before the end of the movie, sorry, I'll jump back before I jump forward. Right. Sorry, my apologies. But what happens is Dr. Wynn is retiring from the practice. Really, he's retiring from the cult. But he's not telling Loomis that. He goes, you're the one I've chosen, Sam, for Smith's Grove. He goes, it's not wise to play pranks on me. But after the Jamie Lloyd over the radio incident,
they hear her,
Loomis accepts because he wants to stop Michael. So
okay. And like I said, I keep jumping back in between movies.
No, it's weird because that most part of that the whole beginning sequence is very similar, the theatrical and the producer's cut. Most of it.
But the cult's purposes are kind of muddled and minimal. You don't really know what is their purpose.
Yeah. Well, more so in the theatrical version because they cut a lot of the producers cut out.
A lot.
A lot of
that's where Jamie gets impaled on the farm equipment.
Yep.
Yeah. And that made people unhappy. They didn't want her to die in that. Because in the producer's cut, they shoot her in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Wynn shoots her.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is where the version of that. Yeah, this version implies Michael may not be the baby's father. So, did we ever establish who was the baby's father in this
Not in the theatrical version, no. In the producer's cut, yes.
Right.
Kara Strode says, "It's your baby, isn't it, Michael?" So that
Yeah, there was a
implies,
lot because yeah, that's right, because there's a lot of implication there for that. It's a
yeah,
real disturbing plot point too. I mean, it
mhm,
really it's really, well, not only is it gross, but
yeah,
I mean, think of Michael. Who wants to have sex with Michael Myers? I mean, oh my God. Think about it. I mean, the man has not bathed in how long? Since 1970 something.
he's
I
been
mean, he's
burnt
been
to a
blown up,
crisp.
burned, shot.
Yes,
I mean, all kinds of dismemberment kind of things. I mean, nothing. I mean, he doesn't die. I mean,
yeah,
I can't even imagine Michael Myers as a sexual being to impregnate anybody. Anyway,
no.
it's more like humanoids from the deep at this point. So yeah, that's so woo, that's so inky.
It's like that. That's the thing too. They have young Jamie Lloyd tied down, and she's in this like
Yeah,
revealing
it's Rosemary's
nightgown.
Baby.
Yeah, it's really right. It's Rosemary's Baby, and she's like, "Don't hurt me, Michael. Oh God,
Yeah,
please forgive me." It's like, well, you're not really doing anything other than you're
yeah,
tied. You're being forced to do this, and so
yeah.
that implies Michael had sex with his niece in the producer's cut. Now, in the producer's cut, you asked about the thorn symbol. Now,
Right.
at the end of the
The
producer's
sailboat.
cut,
The
what
little
you this is
sailboat.
what you don't hear in the theatrical version too. Um, Tommy Doyle had a theory about the ruins that they would stop Michael if you did it, lit them in a circle, the ruins, and you put
Carefully
your
placed
own
them.
blood in, and you said Sam Hain, which
Yeah,
is said wrong. It's actually Samhain.
Samhain.
Um, but
They do that all the time. It really makes me nuts when they call it Sam Hain. I think I often wonder if they're doing it to piss us off. It's like, stop saying it
only
that
one
way.
movie gets it right. Only one movie,
Yeah.
Season of the Witch.
Yep.
Yeah,
The one
season.
everybody hated.
I
I
know.
really liked Season of the Witch, but
Me too. I
I
love
think
that
it's
movie.
aged well, and I think that it was just because Michael Myers wasn't in it and everybody was shocked, but you had a whole new couple generations since then that really come to enjoy it, so it's got a huge cult following no matter what.
Somebody said that. I said, "Listen, no Michael Myers, no problem. Just watch the movie. It's a good movie."
Yeah,
Uh, um,
I like
but
it.
he's
Tom
after
Atkins, the
Tommy
slut,
Doyle does,
typical usual stuff.
yeah, after Tommy Doyle does this, after he puts the ruins in a circle and he puts his own blood in it, he says Sam Hain as Michael's choking him, and this stops Michael. But Dr. Wynn comes up. He goes, "Michael, what have they done to you?" And you see Michael's
Yeah,
fist close, and then you see Michael, supposedly Michael Myers, laying there within the circle. But Loomis unmasked him, and it's Dr.
right,
Wynn, and he
in
says,
his
"It's your
place.
game. It's your game now, Dr. Loomis." And he grabs him by the, and you see the thorn symbol go on Dr. Loomis, and you
Yeah,
hear him screaming, and that's how the producers cut him out.
suggesting that he's the cult leader, but we don't
Yeah,
actually know, do
yeah.
we?
No, he died. Well, either way, his character dies. I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
so
He
like,
becomes kind of a tragic character at this point because I mean he's just so absorbed. I mean, wouldn't after a while, I mean, if you had something that diabolical in your life, want to eventually walk away from it? He just is like a
mm,
moth to a flame. He just can't let it go. And I mean, it becomes obsession at this point. I mean, he was obsessed in the first two films, but I
yeah,
mean, he became obsessed with him as a little boy. I mean, this just never, I mean, this just, I mean, they couldn't, one was not without the other. I mean, they were like
yeah,
two polar opposites of a different plane. I mean, one couldn't exist without the other, it seemed.
yeah. That's what everybody keeps saying. Like, what do you want to see? And that's something I'm going to say later. I want those 15 years in that sanitarium that we didn't see.
Oh my God, I
You know,
know. You know what? There's
wh-
a story there. But I mean,
yep,
when you think about it, I mean, would they have kept him in the sanitarium if he was like killing everybody? So there was probably no killing going on. But I mean,
no.
what happened? Was he just sit there staring at the walls the whole time,
Well, it sort of makes you hark back to the original. Remember, he spent
Right.
8 years trying to reach him. So the first 8 years, he's talking to him, he's trying to communicate with Michael, but Michael's not saying anything. And then he said the next 7, I tried to keep him locked up because I realized. So it took 8 years for Loomis to realize, okay, there's something wrong with this kid.
Right.
And then the next 7, he's like, okay, nope, you're not ever leaving here.
Thinking way back on that, did they ever establish why he killed his sister? You never
This
really do hear some
this
kind of
is
psychology.
it's crazy because in the producer's cut of this movie, they say, okay, there was a thorn symbol on the night he killed Judith. Over
Right.
this, the thorn symbol appeared in the sky in
Right.
1963, in 1978, in 1988, 89, and then now in 1995. You don't hear that in the theatrical version.
No.
Um, but you do. They do talk about the thorn symbol, if you will. Um, which I look. Paul Rudd is such a baby in this movie.
Well, he's kind of first he's very evasive as I mean, he doesn't do anything much. He's kind of like
Yeah.
observing. He's
Yep.
not, and he both actually, he's just observing. He doesn't really, he's not doing much,
Yeah.
and it's Tommy. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I expected maybe just a little more, I don't know, not
This
excited, energetic, something or other. I was expecting more energy from his
I lo-
character.
I love in the theatrical cut how he's taking the fire hydrant, he's beating it off the doorknob like, God damn it, open up.
Yeah, he's trying to do. Yeah, like I would have run by then because it was cutting too close for me. I mean, I guess it was like 7 feet away, but it was looking like 2 or 3 feet. And I mean, if
Yeah.
Michael Myers is coming for you, it's like too bad whoever's in that room. It's like fuck them. It's like,
Bye, Kara. Bye, Kara. Bye. No,
did you hear that they didn't? Was it the Weinstein boys did not like the way she looked, and that's why there was some weird interaction going on with the Weinsteins and her.
yeah. I've heard that, but this movie actually has my favorite female protagonist in Kara Strode. I really love her character.
I actually liked her too.
She was really good. Like, you have this mom who's living in with an
Sometimes all
abusive
it takes
father.
is a mother's touch. What the fuck was that? I
Yeah.
mean, it was kind of a weird, like, here they are. They got Michael Myers' baby, and he
Yeah.
wants to. They didn't change or feed this child through the whole film. The kid was probably hungry. Not, I guess he's supernatural,
Yeah.
right? So the kid's
Well,
going to be supernatural.
Well, they sort of in the theatrical cut and the producer's cut, they do show this. They do try to feed him a bottle, but he falls asleep, and it's like, okay, like, all right, dude. And it's like, then I love how the cult's trying to kill him in the theatrical version, and the producer's cut. Well, this is Michael's final sacrifice.
Right.
Danny's gonna take up the mantle, and it's like to kill his mother, but Danny doesn't kill his like. Tom, that's where Tommy Doyle gets to play hero in
Right.
both movies, which I like that aspect of it. What did you think overall of this whole the whole thing?
The whole kit and caboodle, both of them. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes down to both of them at the same time, one, you've got a more like the tone for what is it? The theatrical cut is it's more slasher heavy, slower, more atmospheric, cult heavy, like the first one.
Yeah.
You got a more brutal, mindless killer in Michael.
Yeah.
The ending is ambiguous and a little more explosive, but Jamie Lloyd's fate, though, being impaled on the farm machine, and her baby is found later. Uh, they just keep interchanging her her dynamic in both films, and I also noticed that the one color was warmer and one was more high def.
Yeah.
The films. So I mean, I was wondering why they would not keep it in high def both. Why would they keep it in that anti-Q looking like, was there because I couldn't find a reason for it. I looked and I couldn't find it. Why they did not high def it.
I don't know what the reason is for it. I do know, like, with the theatrical cut, Daniel Farrens was not around for the warehouse sequences that they filmed later. This is Paul Rudd and Daniel Farrens both love the producer's cut because when they did the producer's cut, even after like Paul Rudd shot those exterior scenes, he thought they were going to go with the producer's cut. When they released the theatrical version, he's like, "This isn't the movie I thought we were going to
Well, it has
watch."
more emphasis on the cult and ritual scenes and the reason
Yeah,
Michael kills to protect the tribe from the
yeah,
demonic curse, and that's more flushed out. But yeah, Kara's then you got Kara's chase sequence.
yeah.
You know, it was where Michael's stalking with violence and urgency. You know, he's violence and urgency. I mean, he's like Jaws on two legs. He's just a killing machine. You know, and it really they still don't explain what that cult is about. That is the one thing that's driving me. There has to be a reason. There is always a reason why you have a cult.
Well,
Right?
their reason in the producer's cut is, well, the thorn symbols to prevent if you sacrifice your tribe, it's to prevent famine and other things going on. It's
Right.
like, okay, so you're committing this sacrifice to prevent famine and all this other shit, but a lot of people have to die in the process for that to happen. It's like, okay, I'm down with that. The reason I prefer the theatrical version is because no one controls Michael. Nobody. Like
Nobody
every
puts baby in a corner, but the
that's
producer's cut keeps it more in line with Halloween 4 and 5, and it
yep,
does kind of tie up the Thorn subplots and stuff, and it gives you a little more lore and the supernatural woo woo that comes with it. You don't get that in the other one as much. So I
yeah,
was trying to think, what were they thinking? Well, I know because what Donald Pleasance died, but I
yeah.
was trying to figure out why they just shellacked one over the other so much.
Well, I don't know, like, I think really, I sort of do think, I do wonder if Donald Pleasance's death was a deciding factor. I don't know if it was or
I
wasn't.
don't know. I mean, well, I mean, he was having health problems. We all know that.
Yeah,
He was kind of drinking off and on. But I mean, they couldn't. I think that the film wasn't really tight either. I don't think it was
yeah,
tight enough to survive
mm,
his death. They had to do something
yeah,
because he really was a pinnacle of it. He was the original. There wasn't anybody
yeah,
else from the
yeah.
other movies.
And
So
that's the
he was
thing.
the draw.
And that's the thing too. In H2O, they're bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Um,
But that at least kind of makes a little sense,
yeah,
in H2O.
it's like you either have to introduce a character who becomes obsessed with Michael Myers,
Yeah.
or
Who became
or
obsessed with that? Just her in that one, right?
well,
There's
she was again. She's a
the
20.
son really didn't
Yeah,
care.
we're gonna get into that too when we do that. We're
Oh, we're gonna do that.
yeah, we're gonna
We're gonna
make
do that
Tom
one
do.
too.
We're gonna make Tom watch that
We're
one.
gonna do them all. Okay.
Yeah, including Rob Zombie.
Tom, well, I will do. I mean, yeah, we'll just take the piss out of that one too. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's the thing too. Like Jamie Lee Curtis coming back, like she's a survivor of the 20-year massacre, and she's faked her death.
Right. I
I
would
like,
too.
yeah,
That
like,
makes more sense. That whole plot makes sense.
yes. They don't include 4, 5, and 6, so they
No.
time jump.
Well, there is really no continuity with most of the
No.
franchise, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you have, like 4, 5, and 6 were written by. Again, that's the thing. Like most of the movies are written by different writers,
Right.
so it's like you're trying to tie something together you didn't initially come up with.
Yeah, and it really does. What as much as you like it. I mean, it gets a little convoluted. I mean, if I got up to pee and I came back, I had no knowledge of what was going on. If I missed it, I literally had to roll it back because
Yeah,
I mean, I just couldn't remember. I had since slept since I've watched it, uh, in the producer's cut though, Loomis did get more screen time and it was more interaction with Tommy Doyle. Feels a little more integrated. But the ending,
mhm,
Loomis discovers Michael's mask on Dr. Wynn,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
implying Michael escaped by,
yeah,
switcheroo kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And then you see the thorn symbol on Loomis's arm, suggesting now he's the new guardian. So, I mean, and then you got in the theatrical cut, it's so much more diminished Loomis's role because Donald Pleasance passed. and they had a bunch of reshoots. He had his presence at the hospital after Jamie's death feels a little less motivated and a little more. The ending is a little more ambiguous with Loomis screaming off screen because I mean, I guess they had to do that. He wasn't there anymore. And the climax of the producer's cut, you got the Tommy using ancient runes in his own blood to temporarily stop Michael by uttering Samhain. This is less action heavy, more reliant on the magic of the so-called curse.
Yep.
But in the theatrical cut, you got Michael is a little more, it's more ambivalent. It's a little more action packed. And of course, I like the theatrical cut and a little more. It's more violent. It's more slasher. That's what I want to see. I don't want that mamby-pamby bullshit. I want violence. Okay.
So
I'm a desensitized human. You know, he's killing all the members of this cult. It's like, yes.
You and I in agreement. The theatrical version is more entertaining.
Well, the producer's cut's just too lame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already bad because it wasn't that tight to begin with. But I mean, when you don't have it, you got to have it sort of like Terrifier. You know, there's nothing really actually going on in Terrifier except a bunch of bloodletting. Really, there's a plot. There's a plot, but the plot is death and destruction. And when you got Michael Myers, you don't want this mamby-pamby, I'm controlled by a cult shit. You know, I rather see him just whacking all of them. Yeah. And that's why I liked this one better. And on top of it, it was supposed to be a little more visceral and appealing to the MTV generation too.
Yeah. It was
because we were still in that era. Not much longer though.
No. And that's the thing. This movie really did appeal to me as a teenager. I mean, it's like I love the slasher action-packed ending of the theatrical version. You get a guy getting his face.
Michael Myers.
Yeah, you got a guy getting his face slammed through bars, like to open the damn door. Like you have a lead pipe beating by Tommy Doyle to Michael.
Yeah, it's like look at Tommy. It's like go. Yeah. You know.
You would have
thought he had it in him.
It's like kick his ass.
Yeah. Well, there was people cheering in the theater at that point.
Yeah.
I think everybody had enough of Michael's shit. But when he started killing everybody in the cult, everybody was like, yay, too. So
yeah, with the surgical machete.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. That was funny. When I saw Michael pick up machete, I'm like, oh, this is not gonna end well. And
but there's always big knives, isn't there? He never goes for the small knife. You know, you always see the knife, you know, in all of those movies. It's not the little knife, it's not the steak knife, it's the big butcher knife, the big bone cutter knife, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was still a convoluted plot, though, both of them.
Yeah. What's your favorite scenes in these?
Michael killing everybody. Let me see. What was my favorite in the P cut? Let me see. Because it was less jarring. So, I mean, I was trying to find something about that I really see. I know I outlined what I like. Was Jamie Lloyd? I don't know. Did you think that when there was like Jamie Lloyd's arc, while she dies, her extended presence is more dignified and tragic, but death at the hands of Dr. Wynn in the hospital is generally preferred over the gruesome early demise in the T cut. What do you think? Her flashbacks also show a little more insight to the cult stuff.
Again, there's reasons I do like the producer's cut. It gives a little more detail.
I'm just trying to throw in a bone here because we're just shitting on it.
But you can keep some of the, if they would have kept some of this in,
they emphasize the cult a whole lot
right,
more.
with the theatrical cut, you do have more of an understanding. But I prefer the theatrical version. So impale the shit out of her all you want to.
Because it made Michael more mysterious too.
Yes.
And instead, it was more leaning more into the idea that he's pure evil. He's evil incarnate. I mean, you can't control. That's what I didn't like. They control him.
Maybe he might as well be a
zombie, you know.
Maybe he was just born evil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, remember the fetuses in the aquarium? I forgot about that.
Yes. Yes. The theatrical cut, yes.
I mean, the theatrical cut definitely hands down my favorite part, my
Yeah,
favorite version. I mean,
yeah,
both scripts were convoluted. I mean, they really kind of threw this together. You have to admit, but
yeah.
because I mean, you gotta love it just because they made the movie. I mean, it's got a following. No matter what, someone is going to like that, and you have a whole new. You've got like almost two generations now that are finding Halloween, and they're
Yeah,
finding these movies now. So I
yeah.
mean, they appreciate it.
And for those who would like to know, when they were casting, initially, they wanted they for Dr. Terrence Wynn, they wanted Christopher Lee. Um,
Yeah,
they did
they
not
did.
get Christopher Lee, but Mitchell Ryan was happy to be there.
Oh,
Um,
I know. That's right. It was always good to see Mitchell Ryan and stuff.
yeah, because
I
I
really loved when he showed up in any movie. It's like, oh wow, like in Lethal Weapon or whatever. He just popped in about.
I like when he shows up in Liar Liar as Jim Carrey's
Oh
boss.
my God, I love that movie. That movie is so funny. It is. I mean, if it's on, if it's a rainy day, even if cable's got it on, I'll watch it because
Yeah.
it's just so. But it's one of his best performances. I mean, it's exhausting. It's sort of like Tim Curry in Clue. That was exhausting. When he's
Yes.
explaining, just the energy that's involved to get certain roles done. You got to appreciate the certain actors. I miss Tim Curry. God, I miss Tim. I just miss that he's not acting. God,
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. My favorite my favorite scene in in the producer's cut is when Kara Strode is walking behind the school, and you actually get to see Michael Stalker at the school because you don't get to see that in the theatrical cut.
Is that when they're
Um,
walking home, like the regular? That was like when they were the three of them walking home from school.
well, not all of them, not walking home from school. The three of them are going to the college. They're walking toward the
They're
college.
talking about their term paper or whatever.
Yeah, and she drops the term paper. They see the drawing, and her brother acts like Beavis and Butthead,
Yeah,
and she picks it up and she's walking. And you don't see this in the theatrical cut, but she walks behind the school. You see it in the producer's cut, and she looks back and she doesn't see anybody. Then when she turns around, and starts walking again, there's Michael Myers popping out from behind the tree. And I'm thinking, okay, that's cool as shit. The theatrical cut, either the producer's cut or theatrical cut. I love me some Barry Sims. What a jackass! What a jackass!
well, then you got, at least in Tommy Doyle or Paul Rudd's role as Tommy Doyle, he was a proactive investigator in
Yeah,
both of them. I didn't when you first see this, you didn't expect to see Tommy Doyle because you kind of forget
yeah,
about the kids of the first two movies, the first movie anyway. And then you often wonder, well, we'll find out later what happens to them. But
yeah,
you kind of lose sight of the kids that were being babysit, that night. And so it's kind of interesting how they threw him into the mix for this movie anyway. But he does come back in the other movie, But and you those, I mean, can you imagine being Tommy Doyle? The two little kids, and then there's Michael Myers, and you're running out of the house screaming, and then you have to interact with him again. Like, was it
mm,
like 15 years later or whatever?
yeah, yeah. It's like like, of course, you're going to be traumatized for the love of
Oh God,
God.
yes.
That's the thing. Like, they play on traumatization with H2O. Laurie Strode is
Yeah,
traumatized 20 years later by the
yeah.
events that happened. And Josh Hartnett's like, I don't want to hear this shit no more. But here's the thing, I will say this, and I love Josh Hartnett for this performance. You believe he's been hearing that shit since the crib.
Right. Well, it's sort of like in any of the other movies, Jamie Lee Curtis, the mother, it's just like she is obsessed with Michael. We have to
Yeah.
protect. I mean, she always knows he's coming, and she just knows he's coming.
Yeah.
And I mean, and just the elaborateness of how her life, ends up with the way her house is and all the things that she does, the trappings of her life to protect herself. I mean, it's just wow. I mean, this woman has lived with trauma. I mean, massive trauma, and then she traumatizes her children in turn. So, I mean, in the H2O, she probably does traumatize her son.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hear about it. It's sort of like someone who's sick all the time. That's all they do is talk about being sick. No one wants to hear about it.
Yeah. Um, what do you give these both versions of the movies? 1 out of 10.
Well, theatrical cut, I'll give it 8. And honestly, the producer's cut, I would give a 6. Just because it just wasn't tight. And I mean, I wanted Michael Myers to be Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That's sort of like making Jason a pussy. You just can't do it with these guys. You can't do it with, Robert Englund's role. You just can't. There's certain things that you cannot control. Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers. You just
I'm with you. I give the theatrical version 10 out of 10. I love the theatrical cut. Producer's cut, I do think there's scenes they do very, very well.
There are.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. They did a really good job. The ending I don't love because again it makes Michael like he was controlled.
Yeah,
but
I'd much rather see him go out slashing and hacking.
I'd rather
Myers way.
They could have added some of these scenes and still kept some of the mystery.
They could have. Well, they did say there was rigorous. Their editing was really. That was a shit show for what I read. And when I was watching some of the interviews on YouTube, I mean, they could have, the editing was just, they could have done a better job. They could have. I mean, I'm not a director and editor, but I know what I like.
Wait till we make Tom sit through the Friday the 13th franchise.
Oh, we're going to do that to Tom.
Yes, of course, because we love Tom. We love Tom.
We do love Tom. But you know what? Tom needs to watch more horror. I used to always give him crap. I still haven't sent him the Human Centipede yet.
I'm gonna send it to him.
The Human Centipede. He's never seen it. He's gonna say, "Oh, we're talking shit on YouTube about him." But some people, it's fun to send certain things to traumatize. What is another one that freaks people out? Necromantic. Like I said, when we were doing that podcast on that, 3 of the guys didn't show up because they couldn't watch the movie. It was so bad. It was rough. I have to admit, it was a rough movie. Oh, there's some stuff even I won't even say on your podcast because I don't know how PG is supposed to be.
You can say whatever you want on here. Like
listen,
there's been a bunch of crazy
shit. Sort of like watching the new Nosferatu. I didn't see necrophilia coming at all. I mean, holy shit. It's a real taboo subject. When you cover a movie like that, just like, are we going to do this? Sure, me and Keith were going to go there because that's just what we did. Then we had a couple people just drop off because they couldn't handle doing some movies. Or it's like Cannibal Holocaust.
I see
some
that.
People couldn't handle that either.
Yeah.
Cannibal Ferox and Cannibal Holocaust because of the animal abuse, which is hard to watch. I love animals.
Yeah.
But I mean,
sent Tom the Human Centipede.
Holocaust, that music just follows you wherever you go. I can hear it in my brain right now for Cannibal Holocaust, that music. It's like the score.
I sent Tom the Human Centipede.
You did not. It'll be good for him.
It will be.
It'll be all right till he gets past the surgery. Then it's going to be pretty bad. Peter, he'll lose it.
No. What somebody needs to get all the Nightmare on Elm Streets and send them to Tom. There you go.
We love you, Tom.
Yeah. I love it when people watch horror because it's a new experience for some,
Yeah, it is. Some people aren't into it. Like, some of us are gore hounds, and I mean, I'll watch anything. I mean, I've got some.
I just
all kinds of shit.
I just watched the first Terrifier movie for the first time. I enjoyed it. So.
I love Artie the Clown. Well, actually, I mean, there was a movie before that too, before Terrifier.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are just great movies. It's mindless, senseless violence, but I love all of them. And they're setting up for another one. They got that Terrifier 3, but they actually are setting up for a Terrifier 4. So there'll be more mindless violence for those of us who like it.
Is there anything you want to add before we get on out of here?
No, no, no. I mean, the only problem I have is it is so hard to keep these two
It is.
straight. I have always had difficulty keeping the theatrical cut of this movie and the producer's cut. I always have to put them side by side because one is warm looking and the other is high def. And that's
Yeah.
the only way I can keep them straight.
Yeah. We'll see Tom Sunday for the time tunnel.
The time tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying the time tunnel. I really like it.
It's
A lot
fun
of
to
fun.
it's fun to look up the history of it too, you know, with
I love history, and I think
yeah,
it's also
so
cool. That's why I love the last Indiana Jones when that came out. You know, when
yeah.
Harrison Ford was at the Battle of Carthage. It was just like, wow. It's like, don't leave him there. But if I was him, I would have wanted to die there too. You know,
Yeah.
I used to be an archaeologist for the Army Corps of Engineers. It is quite an addiction. It is.
Yeah. Link to the Literary License podcast will be in the description box. You can get Vicki Ray and Tom on Facebook.
I don't know if Tom's going to talk to us.
Tom
Sending him
made
all
it,
the movies.
if he messages me like, what did you just send me? A horror movie, man, a horror movie. Because we love you, buddy.
Yeah, we do.
We want you to watch more horror so you could talk about it with us because we love hearing people's
Oh,
agony
I'll
and
talk
pain.
monster movies with people all day long. I don't
Yep.
care.
Yep. Oh my goodness. That has been Vicki Ray. This has been a lot of fun. I'll see you
Thanks.
Sunday, Vicki.
Bye, sweetie. Y'all have
Bye.
a great one.
You too.
Bye.